everybody, my name is Miss Day and I'm here to talk to you today about the book that I really have enjoyed reading and the book that I would like to recommend people to have a read if they haven't. I chose this book because it is by Philippa Gregory. She's one of my favourite writers, absolutely love her. She writes historical novels based on true life events, particularly focused around the Tudor courts, Henry VIII, and all those famous historical people that we know a lot about. But she gives the characters that didn't have a voice in those days a voice. So we hear from the stories of the people that never got their story told, because we read loads about Henry VIII and we don't hear much about anyone else who's involved in that time period. This particular book is The Kingmaker's Daughter. I chose this book because it's about the Richard Neville, who was the Earl of Warwick. I chose this novel because the Earl of Warwick, Warwick is where I was born, it's where I grew up, Warwick Castle is there, so I thought this was quite a relevant one because Warwick Castle, where I was born, is where the Earl of Warwick lived for a time period. So that's why I chose this book. So I'm about to read you a little extract from the story. I really hope that you enjoy it. It is a story full of lies, full of deceit, and just a really fascinating insight into what life in history was like. So I fully recommend this novel, as I recommend all novels written by Philippa Gregory, especially if you are interested in history. So here goes. This is the first page. Set in the Tower of London in May 1465. My Lady Mother goes first, a great heiress in her own right, and the wife of the greatest subject in the kingdom. Isabel follows because she is the eldest. And then me. I come last. I always come last. I can't see much as we walk into the great throne room of the Tower of London, and my mother leads my sister to curtsy to the throne and steps aside. Isabel sinks down low, as we have been taught, for a king is a king, even if he is a young man put on the throne by my father. His wife will be crowned queen, whatever we may think of her. And then, as I step forwards to make my curtsy, I get my first good view of the woman that we have come to court to honour. She is breathtaking, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in my life. At once I understand why the king stopped his army at the very first sight of her and married her within weeks. She has a smile that grows slowly and then shines, like an angel's smile. I have seen statues that would look stodgy beside her. I have seen painted Madonnas whose features would be coarse beside her pale, luminous loveliness. I rise up from my curtsy to stare at her as if she were an exquisite icon. I cannot look away. Under my scrutiny, her face warms, she blushes, she smiles at me, and I cannot help but beam in reply. She laughs at that, as if she finds my open adoration amusing, and then I see my mother's furious glance, and I scuttle to her side where my sister Isabel is scowling. "You were staring like an idiot," she hisses, "embarrassing us all. What would father say?"